Hello students, today's agenda is to check homework. We'll be learning about the cosine and sine in a unit circle, and you will be able to do 10.3. Today students will be able to fill out the cosine and the sine in the unit circle. Before we do that, I just want to go back to one of those units where you learn about the sines in a coordinate plane. And if you recall, in quadrant 1, you go right, which is positive for x, and go up, meaning positive as well for y. On quadrant 2, you go left, it's negative, and up is positive. For quadrant 3, you go left, which is negative, and down for y, which is negative. And on quadrant 4, it's positive because you go right, and negative for y because you go down. And we're going to assign those same signs on the unit circle, and you also will see a lot of colors in here, but it's just to help us. So positive, positive, negative, positive, and these are going to be so helpful on quadrant 2. And here is negative, negative for quadrant 3, and then positive and negative for quadrant 4. Positive for x and negative for y. Okay, so I'm just gonna put them right there so that they can be closer to us instead of up there. And now I'm going to go over what we learned in the previous lessons, so that you can have everything in here. And what we're gonna start with our degrees, and I'm going to fill it out kind of fast because we already know this. So the orange ones together with the black ones, or the ones that are not over painted, those go by 45. Okay, so it's going to be 0 in here, but also 0 degrees or 360 degrees, because 0 if you don't move it, or if you go around the whole circle, is 360 degrees. Okay, I'm gonna put it over here again because it's down here. So I'm just gonna fill out the orange ones. It goes by 45, so this is 45 degrees. This is 90 degrees because 45 plus 45 is 90, plus 45 is 135 degrees. And then 180 degrees plus 45, 225 degrees. This is 270 degrees. You just keep adding 45. Then in here is 315 degrees, and it goes up to 360 when you add 45. When we look at the highlighted yellow lines, those are going, if you look in here, this is 90 degrees, this is 1/3 and 2/3, so it's 1/3 of that is 30 degrees. So it goes by 30, including the black ones as well. So 0, 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 120 degrees, 150 degrees, 180 degrees, 210 degrees, 240 degrees, I'm just adding 30, 270 degrees, 300 degrees, 330 degrees, and 360 degrees. And that was in lesson 10.1. For 10.2, we learned about the radians. And the radians is how many radiuses go around our circle. And you can go back to that lesson if you need to review it. But again, for this one, it would be 0 radians. And if you remember, the whole circle is going to be 2 pi radians. And that is 2 times 3.14, which is around 6.28. And that's how many times the radius goes around in the circle. Okay, so this is going to be 2 pi, which is equivalent to the 360. Half of the 360 is 180, so half of 2 pi is also pi. pi divided by 2 goes right here because 90 degrees, half of 180. So half of pi is also pi divided by 2. Then if we divide this pi, because if you notice 45 goes in here 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. So this pi divided by 4 gives me this right here. So pi divided by 4. So this is going to be 1, 2 pi divided by 4, 3 pi divided by 4. And here we said 2 pi divided by 4. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So that's where that comes from, by talking about the fourths. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pi divided by 4, and 4 divided by 4 is just 1 pi. So for this one right here, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fourths of pi. 5 fourths of pi. We just put the pi up there. For this one, is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 pi divided by 4, which if we simplify is going to be 3 pi divided by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2. For this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pi divided by 4. And then finally this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pi divided by 4. 8 pi divided by 4, 8 divided by 4 is 2. So that's where you get the 2 pi. Okay? Now let's do the yellow one. I gave examples in 10.2. You can go there for more detailed explanation. Again, in here, this whole thing, this 180 degrees is pi. And I noticed that this whole thing is divided in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts. If I'm talking about the yellow and this black one, okay? I'm not paying attention to the orange ones now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So the pi is being divided into 6 pieces. So this will be pi divided by 6. See, one of these little pieces is pi divided by 6. And so let's see if in here is from here to this line is 1/6 of pi, then in here is going to be 2/6 of pi, or 2 pi divided by 6, which is the same. But we simplify it to divided by 2 is 1, but we don't put it, and we just bring over the pi. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 2/6 of pi is the same as 1/3 of pi. For the next one is 1, 2, 3/6. 3/6 of pi. Half of 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1, that we don't put it, and 6 divided by 3 is 2. So see, it can become, this comes from the 45 comparison and the 30-degree comparison as well. For this one, how many sixths do we have of pi? ¿Cuántos sextos de pi tenemos? 1/6, 2/6, 3/6, 4/6. So 4/6 of pi. Half of 4 is 2. Half of 6 is 3. So 2/3 of pi. For this one, 1, 2, we're just counting at the yellow ones. We're just counting the yellow and black. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cannot be simplified, so it's just 5/6 of pi. Then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6/6 of pi is just 6 divided by 6 cancels, it's 1. So 1 pi. For this one, let's go a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6th of pi, that cannot be simplified. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 can be simplified. It's an even number and 6 is an even number, so that means that both have at least half. So half of 8 is 4. Half of 6 is 3. For this one, it's already simplified, but see how it goes from this, comes from the sixth. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 sixths. Both are divisible by 3. By 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And you just bring over pi. See? From both, it can be simplified to the same. For the next one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is even, so that means it can be simplified. 10 divided by 2 is 5 pi. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 5 pi over 3. For this one, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 cannot be simplified, so it's 11 pi over 6. So those are the radians, the measurements in radians for the different degrees. And you saw, if you want to do some conversions, you can go back to 10.2. So just go to the playlist and you'll find 10.2 and you can see some practice of how to convert from this to this and from this to this. That was kind of long for just review, but that's going to be helpful. The more you see it, the better. Now, let's fill out this. Which one is which? Well, just think. The first one is cosine. The second one is going to be sine. Okay? And in this video, I'm not going to give detail of how they come from. Is the 45, 45, 90 degree triangles. And the other ones come from the 30, 60, 90 degree triangles. So maybe you can find that video. For now, I'm just going to show you the super fast way to remember it. And if you notice, it's going to go back to our signs, but also I have some colors in here. And these colors are going to help us. Okay, in alphabetical, it starts with C, it starts with S, X, Y. These are in alphabetical order. These are in alphabetical order, okay? So maybe that's going to help you remember this by memorize it, basically. Okay, that's one thing that you need to know. The other thing is that if you notice, other than this on the axis, I have some colors for the ones that are right across. If you notice, those are going to have exactly the same value. And then for the green are just across, if you go straight on that orange lines, they are going to be exactly the same values. And for the blue, same thing. Those in blue are going to have exactly the same values in cosine and sine. However, you just change the signs that are according to their coordinate, to the coordinate plane. Okay, so let's start filling those in. And again, this is just an easy, fast way to get to those values and so that you can memorize them. Okay, so this is what you're going to do for each coordinate. So I'm going to fill out first the ones that are on the axis. Unit circle means 1 unit. 1. So that means that this value is going to be 1 for x because you are moving only on x and you're not moving up or down for that point. You're just staying on 0 for y. So your cosine or x will be 1. Your sine or y will be 0. Okay? And for this one, you don't move on x. You stay right there and then you move up. That means that for x or cosine, you will have 0 because you don't move left or right. But then for sine, which is up, you move 1 space. For this one, for your cosine, you move left. That means that it's going to be -1 for the cosine, but for the sine, it's going to be 0 because you don't move up or down. And then for this last one, you don't move on x, so that's 0. But then you move down for y, which is going to be -1. And so for the other ones, this is what I want you to do. You're going to put all the denominators as 2. All the denominators are going to be 2. And look at what you're going to do. You're going to put 1, 2, 3, and then move to the y value, and you're going to go up. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to make the numerator a square root. Square root of 3, you cannot simplify. Square root of 2, you cannot simplify. Square root of 1, well, the square root of 1 is 1 times 1 is 1. So you don't need to put the square root on the 1. And you're going to do the same thing for the y values. In the numerator, you put the square root. But again, square root of 1, you can simplify as 1. And so you don't need a square root in there. But for the other ones, you cannot simplify. And that's how you get the values. So the cosines are going to be 1/2 square root of 2 over 2, square root of 3 over 2. Then for the sines, 1, 2, 3, square root of them, except that this can be simplified. That's the easy way to fill it out. All the denominators are 2's. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and place the square root in all of them except the 1 for the numerators. For these ones, all the values are positive for both the x and the y because they're on quadrant 1. For these ones, they're going to have exactly the same values for the for the pink, for the green goes with green, and the blue goes with blue, except that all the x's are going to be negative. And so let's copy them. 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. And here is square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2. However, don't forget to put the negative on the x values. And you might want to put it with the same color or a different color matter. Okay, so negative on all the x's. Okay, and you're going to do the same thing over here. Okay, now let's do these values. The pink with the pink, the pink with the pink, the green with the green, and blue with blue. Again, just make sure that now you have negative for both the cosines and the sines. Let's start with the pink. -1/2 negative square root of 3 over 2. And you can even go like this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Now backwards. In here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? But if you get confused with that, you can just go with the colors. Okay? So for this one, both of them, square root of 2 over 2 for both cosine and sine, but for both are going to be negative. Square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. For the blue, negative again for both of them, but it's going to be square root of 3 over 2 and 1/2 for y, or for the sine. Okay? For this one, you're going to have positive, negative. So negative for the y value only. And you can put it ahead of time so that you don't get confused. And then start. And again, you can start 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Just putting, if you want to follow that, just put all the denominators, 2, 2, 2. Or you can just copy it, whichever is easier for you. And then start from the pink, 1, 2, 3. So in here, the pink is 1, 2, 3. Square roots for the 2 and the 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Square root for the 2 and the pink. So there are two different ways to do it, just by looking, do the first one and then just copy the pink with all the pinks, following the signs. Or you can just do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So in the bottom, you start from bottom up and then up, down. From here, you start up, down, down, up with the 1, 2, 3. Okay? Hopefully I didn't get you confused with that, but I think the easiest one is just to do the first one. Do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Make sure that you copy the right ones for pink. Then the greens are the ones in the middle, or the 45 degrees. And then the blue ones are the ones that are closer to the x-axis. And once you have that, you just copy everything. All the pink ones have these values, but negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative. Okay? All the green ones have the same values. Square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. But with the appropriate signs. Okay? And all the blue ones have exactly the same values with appropriate signs. Okay? So these are going to be very helpful when we find the sine, cosines of angles, when we find tangent later on, when we find secants, cosecants. So it is very important that you fill out your circle, fill it out 2-3 times so that you can maybe even memorize some of those values, so that you don't have to be very, very dependent on it. And sometimes you can even just imagine it. But it is going to be super helpful when you fill out and even graph sines, cosine, curves, and secants, cosecants, etc., etc. So fill it out, have fun with it, enjoy. Before you go to do your homework, if you can just give us a thumbs up and share this video, subscribe, and always, always, always remember to have fun.